Greetings, everyone. This is Rock and Roll Spot Connection with the Weekly Comic Book Roundup. We started the roundup a few days ago. Now it's going to keep to truck on through the rest of it. Kicking things off, we've got Blade number 6. Where we left off, Blade had inadvertently unleashed an ancient evil known as the Adana onto the Earth, and he tried to destroy it, and failed. And so he has gone to someone that is the closest thing he can think of to a true embodiment, of true evil, for assistance. Dracula. So the issue opens in Chernobyl. Blade is slicing his way through what he describes as being blood zombies created by Dracula. Something that Blade was unaware Dracula could do. Blade never asked. But rather than the usual antagonistic banter between Blade and Dracula, which was kind of the norm during Jason Aaron's Avengers run, in the arcs that in the issues that focused on Blade being basically the sheriff of the Vampire Nation. Dracula is it actually does feel very. It's written that Blade is very much antagonistic to Dracula, but Dracula is actually trying to teach him. And Dracula states that Blade's problem isn't his skill; it's his perspective. It basically said that Blade is blind to the forces that exist inside him. The Adonis sees all and sees Blade. Until Blade embraces himself, he can't destroy her. But Blade suggests that Dracula wouldn't mind if the Adana won. However, Dracula points out that he actually rather loves the Earth. He's quite fond of it. And we see Dracula shows Blade his old armor, kind of basically saying that the origin sequence of Dracula from Francis Ford Coppola's Bram Stoker's Dracula is basically the canonical origin of the Marvel Universe version of Dracula as well. The armor is practically the same. There are some differences, but overall it's the same armor. But Dracula states, that when he became a vampire, he learned that he knew nothing. And then Blade needs to learn that which he does not know. And so he says, okay, all right, Blade, destroy me. And Blade strikes, and Dracula turns to mist. Then to bats. But he states that if Blade thinks like a man, then he will have the limits of a man. So Blade says that he is a man. And Dracula corrects him, saying that he wishes to be just as Dracula did. Adding that Blade is no longer a man and never will be again. And so Dracula sends his soulless against Blade. Wades through them, but it's not easy. And he does give into his darker nature. But to help Blade unlock his power, Dracula offers him some of his own blood. Initially, Blade refuses, but he explains that it would take generations for Dracula to teach Blade everything, all that he needs to know. But Dracula assumes that Blade doesn't have that much time. And Blade figured, oh, well, he drinks Dracula's blood, he'll receive Dracula's power, but Dracula explains that no, it will connect Blade with his own. And so he drinks. Dracula strikes and Blade turns to mist. And Blade is now much more in touch with his own power, and so Dracula bids him adieu. Basically, get the hell out of my house. However, somewhere in America, Blade gets a phone call, presumably a voicemail, from Bruce Banner. Apparently, Banner had been warned about the Adana by Blade, and the things he was warned about are happening. Blade needs to come see it, and soon. After all, Dr. Banner's getting angry. And that is where the issue ends. I think I've been liking this series so far. But I gotta say, I think this is probably at the moment the best issue so far of the series, and I'm glad to know that this is an ongoing. It's not a miniseries. I think I initially thought from previews somehow that it was simply a miniseries, but no, it is an ongoing. Moving on though to our next book, we've got Captain America #4, where we left off while investigating an aberrant. While helping Misty Knight with an investigation for the Aberrant Crimes Division, the person who committed said crime, a serial killer by the name of Henry Kavanaugh, made his move against Steve. Kavanaugh has been empowered by the demon Asmodee to be his emissary. And it turns out that Steve is a change agent. And, well, Asmodee wants all change agents to be killed. And so, the issue opens with the fight between Cap and the emissary. Apparently, Cap has a system, which he calls the ham sandwich, because he thought of it, and it's his idea, so he gets to name it. And why not? But basically, the idea is that it tells him if he's fighting, the person he's fighting is level 1, level 2, level 3, or a level, holy crap, where did that come from? Apparently, the emissary is at least level 3. But Cap notes that the way Kavanaugh holds himself, especially in the outfit, says everything's new to him. The suit he's wearing, or the suit wearing the man instead of the man wearing the suit. Probably strong, probably powers he hasn't revealed, but he hasn't trained in whatever he's supposed to be. Which is something that Steve can use to his advantage. Kavanaugh's slow and deliberate. Someone who likes to control and scare his victims. He's a plotter. not a close-up fighter. And so, Cap's got his measure. And he brings out one of those powers that hasn't been revealed yet. Manages to use the blowback of his shield's vibranium alloy to get to escape, ending up in the river. The series has been jumping between the present and 1939, when Steve Rogers was just Steve Rogers, Sickly Steve. The German and American Bund have entered into an alliance with Barons Strucker and Zemo, and they have a plan called Operation Garden, which will be focused on Madison Square Garden. The idea is apparently a large bomb going off at Madison Square Garden, killing many members of the German-American Bund. And basically, the idea being that they can use that to recruit the United States to the side of the Axis. Crime boss Meyer Lansky has asked Steve to keep an ear to the ground about this. But Steve's got a construction job. However, he's also practically working himself to death. After work one day, while heading home, almost there, passes out from dehydration. There's apparently a nurse that comes by every few days, every other week or so, to check on the girls in the boarding house that Steve is living in. And upon hearing Steve's medical history, she's added him to her list of regular patients. In the present, Steve starts to realize there are some similarities to what happened in the past and what's happening now. And while this is something Steve is unaware of, the leader of the German-American Bund has also talking with Asmodee. Promised power and, of course, destroy. He has to, got to kill the change agent. In the present, Steve's trying to get in touch with Doctor Strange, but, well, Doctor's unavailable. And so, Steve talks with Misty Knight. Tells him what's going on. Tells Misty what's going on. Tells her about the emissary. And mentions that the emissary said he was trying to kill Steve to stop him from interfering. But there are some there's some new information that Misty has. The victim that her and Steve found was in New York for a peace conference in a few days at the Simon Convention Center. At least one of the other victims was also slated to attend, and the rest are being looked into. And that's when he really starts to see the similarities. And all the threads are starting to come together. But Steve asks for a favor. He needs to borrow the doll. Misty has a figurine of Doctor Strange, which he can ask for project into when he can't be present. Well, Steve needs it. And that is where the issue ends. Interesting. It's Straczynski, so of course it's going to be interesting. And so I'm digging what they're putting out. Next up, we've got the Immortal Thor #5. Where we left off, Thor had recruited a brand new Thor Corps, just as Tornos returned to Earth. The Thor Corps consisting of, obviously, himself, as well as Beta Ray Bill, Storm, Jane Foster, and Loki. Holding the hammer, they can each have the power of Thor for a minute. Starting from the point when they let go, 60 seconds it begins as soon as they let go of the hammer. But so the Wheel of Fate, the spinning of the Wheel of Fate, we learn that Demiurge in the primordial days created the first gods. So before man existed and could name them and shape them, and they fought endlessly. However, Gaia realized that this was unsustainable, and so she taught a new cycle, a wheel that turned, yet with each turning made new. And so she began to plan. And the Thor Corps members basically are constantly throwing the hammer between them to make it so they each have the power of Thor for as long as possible, while Thor wields the axe Yarnborn. No, it's not Yarnborn. That's right. It's his new axe. But Loki throws Mjolnir directly at Tornos, and Tornos catches it. Throwing the hammer between them has managed to keep the hammer just out of Tornos' reach. But once, as the powers of Thor wear off from everyone but Thor, declares that he judges Tornos worthy of the power of Thor, and then he asks Tornos a simple question: what is the power of Thor? And so basically, he gave Tornos a conscience. Tornos rejects the hammer and ends up explaining that his return is all part of Gaia's wheel that keeps turning, but as it turns, becomes new. And she was one that sealed him away. And with that, Tornos leaves. And the Thor Corps part, with Storm, with Thor volunteering to help Storm with the war on Rocco. Though Storm says, that wouldn't be, you coming in to help would, in all honesty, lose the war. So it's appreciated, but really just send me back and, with a cape maybe. Thor and Bill begin to mend fences from the beginnings of Donny Cates' run. Jane tells Thor what she's learned in Avengers Incorporated about his looming death. And on Earth, Dario Agger, the now Minotaur CEO of Roxxon Corporation, who now owns the rights to the earthly retellings of Thor's adventures. Well, he's in a meeting with the Executioner, who he appears to be hiring, as well as the Enchantress. And it's not so much hiring as much as opting to work with, but that is where the issue ends. Also, very interesting, I guess that the masterful way of at least once again temporarily stopping Tornos. Basically giving him a conscience. Moving on, though, to our last book for the moment, we have Moon Knight, number 30. Where we left off, Moon Knight and his allies were attempting to stop Black Spectre from using a specific sound frequency to drive the city mad and into a murderous rage. And Black Spectre, the new Black Spectre, was revealed to be Dr. Plesko, a former member of Moon Knight's Shadow Cabinet. A member who was believed to recently have been murdered. But the issue opens with Moon Knight's allies making their way up the stairwell to the top floor. However, there's the 21st floor, and there's debris blocking the stairs, and they can't get through. On the top floor, Plesko explains everything to Moon Knight. Apparently, he was he's a psychologist, and he's fascinated with he has a deep interest in pain and suffering. Then he heard that his mercenary partner Mark Spector was killed, and so Plesko went to Sudan and found the man who did it, Raoul Bushman. Plesko wanted to see what Mark saw. Back at the Midnight Mission, which plot point I forgot to mention from last issue, Zodiac is imprisoned within the mission, and Reese points out that for all his bluster earlier, at this point, Zodiac's nothing more than a henchman. Revealing to Reese that Black Spectre is Plesko. But Reese makes it clear that, yeah, while Zodiac is, yeah, Plesko's going to kill Mark, and then Mark will come back, and I get to go after him again. But Reese explains that there's no more resurrections, and so if the Black Spectre kills Mark, he's not coming back. But Mark makes his way to Plesko's device, having sustained massive injury, and Khonshu speaks to him, reminding him, "Hey, I can't bring you back after this. I'm sorry. My power, not just the fact I'm locked away, but also just I can't do it anymore." But Khonshu states that he is proud of Mark. And Mark's altars also help encourage him. But Reese states that Zodiac is stuck in that mission until Mark returns. But Zodiac's not dumb and gets in touch with the Midnight Mission, and they're just going to mission to make him a door out. And so Zodiac leaves. But Moon Knight's allies are, of course, kind of helpless to save him. Though Tigra wants nothing more than to do so. Though Badir stops her from hurting herself to do so. Plesko's machine goes off and is stopped. Everyone thinks of their fondest memories from the run of Mark. Reese, Tigra, Badir, Soldier. And the top of the building explodes. Our first epilogue, Plesko learns of his failure and finds Zodiac waiting for him, reminding him, "You can't plan for Moon Knight." But, well, Zodiac has a plan for Plesko. Atrocity, the full experience, up close. Our second epilogue, a month later at the Midnight Mission. Mr. Knight is gone, but the Midnight Mission perseveres. Led by Reese, with Badir, Tigra, Soldier, and 8-Ball as her staff. And that is where the series ends. Should be noted that while yes, this is the end of this current Moon Knight series, next month will be new Vengeance of Moon Knight series, written by McKay, continuing the run and introducing a new Moon Knight. Anyways, well, it's not technically the end of McKay's run. It's still kind of sort of the end of it. So I've really enjoyed this run, and I'm looking forward to seeing what happens going forward. Obviously, at the moment, the idea is that Mark's gone and not coming back, but I get the feeling that Mark's just not coming back for now. But we'll see. Anyways, that's going to do it for now. As always, feel free to like, share, and subscribe. Links to my Facebook, Twitter, Mastodon, Patreon, and PayPal can be found in the description box down below. This is Rock and Roll Spock signing off saying, live long and rock hard.